On September 11, 2001, two hijacked airplanes crashed into the World Trade Center Twin Towers in New York. Another crashed into the Pentagon outside of Washington, D.C., and a fourth plane meant for another building crashed in an empty field in Pennsylvania because of the brave passengers aboard.
Approximately 3,000 people lost their lives on that day and another 6,000 people were injured. It is the deadliest terrorist attack on the U.S. soil.
This event shaped the world we have grown up in. Those who were alive at the time remember exactly where they were that day.
I'm Maddie from the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
I do. I was at home. My son was at home sick from school, and I was sitting in the recliner watching the Today Show and saw it when they broke in, and I watched it all day long, and I cried.
Thank you. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
Yeah, second grade.
You were in second grade? In class?
Class.
Okay. Thank you.
I had gotten up that morning, taken my kids to school, and got home and watched it on the news. And then I turned around and went to get my kids because I was scared. Nobody knew the events that was going to take place. So we watched it live on the news.
I'm Maddie from the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
Yes, I do. I remember very specifically. I was in my car. It was during my student teaching, and I had gone to pick up lunch for the teachers that I was working with. And that's when the radio came on and said, what had happened. So then I was really scared. I raced back to the school, and I remember the entire school was silent because every TV was on in every classroom, and everybody was watching. Everybody was concerned. And then that's when the second plane hit. So I remember exactly where I was at, and I was thinking, what is fixing to happen here? I need to get bunkered down. But it was a very frightening experience.
Maddie from the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
Yes, I was actually sitting in my third grade classroom. I was in the 8th grade hall, the last room on the left, and Coach Holland was my social studies teacher for my team, and he walked over and he said, "You need to cut the TV on." And so we watched it all unfold live on television.
Maddie with the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
I do. I was in Miss Jacobs' 8th grade Algebra 1 class here at Worth County Middle School.
I was at work. I was at Target working, but I had no idea what was going on until I went on break. Then when I went on break upstairs, and then everybody was into the TV, so I what was going on, and that's what they told me that was going on, and then we just sat out, and then I just got into it.
Good morning, Maddie. I actually do. I hadn't started teaching yet. I was actually working somewhere called Cooper Tires. And I remember waking up that morning because I had gotten off of night shift. And I remember waking up that morning and seeing this terrifying picture of looking like a plane had actually collided into this building. And of course we know what that building ended up being. And it was devastating. It was devastating not only to us here, but to the entire country. And that residue still...
Maddie with the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
Yes, I do. I was teaching 3rd grade in Dougherty County, and we knew nothing about it because back then you didn't have all the technology until we went to lunch at 11 that day. And all the faculty and some of the teachers were very upset. So that's where I was.
Maddie with the Morning News. Do you remember where you were when the events of 9/11 occurred?
I do. I was in 10th grade world history class that day, and I remember our teacher telling us that the Trade Center as well as the towers had just been hit.
Please pause now to remember those who lost their lives, lost loved ones, and for our country as we remember September 11, 2001 today.